Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is November 1st, 2020. Howard, have you already voted?
5 times.
5 times.
I'll vote till they shoot me.
Which
I'll just
state?
keep voting till they shoot me. I'm voting from the great state of Canada. You guys,
For the Queen, right?
it's an easy win for the states. They're going to invade Canada if Trump wins again, just to say they won a war. All right, let's get to the markets.
Yes, let me share my screen. So definitely we're starting to see some pressure on stocks last week. We had a bunch of probably about 1,000 companies reporting earnings last week. For the most part, the bigger ones, the reaction wasn't that positive. Anything except Google basically was sold off. I mean, you can still make the argument that not that much damage was done, but definitely it is something to pay attention to, because during real corrections that have more legs, typically we see a spike in correlations. That means stocks start to move together, like in the same direction, up and down. And we're kind of starting to see an indefinite increase in correlations. So there's definitely something to pay attention to. And I mean, if you already take a look at what's going on in Europe, and this is the Euro 50 ETF, because of all the lockdowns that are happening right now there, every day we learn about a new country getting more extreme measures, accepting more extreme measures to fight COVID. Europe is already trading below its September lows. And you saw what happens, the moment that Euro 50, if you look at the futures, it's more clear. The moment that level was lost, we saw a quick drop down. So I think I'm kind of wondering if something similar might happen in the US. So far, US is holding a lot better. Definitely on Friday, we saw buyers defending that 323 level here. But if we lose that 320, the September lows, we might see another, I think, 5 to 7% drop, all the way up to, I'd say 300 for the S&P.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if I go look at, like I always do every week, the civilian broken companies, Simon Properties and Boeing. They're just giving up the ghost here. It just feels like the next big move is down. Boeing already started on that. So I don't see a reason to fight this closing of the economy that's happening. I think people are starting to factor in potentially a Democratic at least win at the president. Again, I have no idea what happens this week, but like Nevada, I was looking at early numbers and it looks like it's going blue. And even Arizona might go blue, and Texas, they're saying. So I think that's starting to get factored in. It was week before 2016 elections as well. So, but COVID just seems like, Europe is definitely shutting down or has shut down. And I don't think the US will shut down. And we've already seen that the Amazons and, people are used to ordering, but it's really a lot of hardship on people. And this is really starting to drag out mentally. So I don't think stocks are the first thing on people's minds on the dip this time around. So yeah, if you saw Amazon, down 15, 20% more, I think, there's just going to be massive step up and buy. I don't know what it means for the rest of the stock. So, Amazon 25, 2,600, a big upward sloping 200-day moving average, but that's a lot of damage to the market if it gives way here. And then same thing with Apple, as you showed before. So I don't have a good feeling, put it that way. And then Google pulled the string on some numbers and couldn't hold on to, it's kind of closed at its lows if you look at it, which, is nice. Google playing a little bit of catch up, but the way it closed was weak. I'm trying to think what else that I noticed was really weak. The open source software stocks have been weak. My Elastic is weak.
Anything momentum, it's basically down about 20%, 20 to 20.
Yeah, 20%. So your correlation stuff is correct. So I don't want to get fancy here. Now the earnings are behind us. I think it's going to fully focus on, not behind us, but the big companies reported this week. I think, I don't have a good feel to the upside. I feel like you said, everything seems to be correlated and everybody wants to sell right now. The good news is, if you followed us, we've been watching this develop over the weeks, and we were booking some profits along the way. Does anything look good, Ivan?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, China, if you look at China, is definitely holding a lot for whatever reason. I don't know if it's political or it's because China is just doing a better job protecting its people and economy from COVID. But
yeah, K-Web came up in a conversation. I was golfing with an 81-year-old man, and he brought up K-Web, and that's pretty cool. So I'm saying, like, the idea of owning Chinese internet in form of an ETF is an 8 to 80 kind of phenomenon at this point. They've tried to hold back these Chinese companies, and Tencent's all-time highs. Alibaba's flirting. You're right. So there you've got the solar stocks, I guess, still strong, but selling off now into the election.
Solar is pulling back a little bit, maybe because some people expect, like, in case Biden wins, there might be a sell the news event, but their underlying fundamentals are improving at such a pace that even if we see a sharp pullback to their 50-day, I think there will be buying opportunities.
Okay. Biotech, been weak.
I mean, almost everything, as I say, correlations have just definitely gone up. Biotech is hanging on a thin thread here.
It's still a nice base. So, no real damage, just no real distribution, just digestion of big gains. And the overall thing is still, inflation low, interest rates low. There is a point where people will step in and buy growth stocks. It's just seems like a lot of people are in the let's play catch up to the earnings. Look at hot IPO Snowflake, still doing well.
I mean, we definitely, at some point earlier last week, we saw some of the IPOs doing well, but don't forget that, if the sell-off accelerates, those can quickly go down 30-40% because of their low float. The interesting thing on Friday was that we saw actually even treasuries under pressure, and typically we see the opposite. When stocks are under pressure, typically treasuries rally, but no, even treasuries were weak. The only thing that was, the few sectors that were up on Friday were kind of laggards, like oil, financials, and also gold, Bitcoin, all those kind of that are considered safe.
But if we have a March or a kind of a mini March, crypto will give up. It seems like the bids get pulled and they'll give up 30% too quickly. So that TLT, the yield chart looks interesting. The market's starting to panic a little bit. And you saw that in the VIX spiking above 40. Okay. Well, I think we're in one of, it's going to be a crazy week in terms of press and noise. So I'm going to do very little. I may put on a couple trades, but I'm leaning towards the short side for a couple trades, although we've had a couple weeks where the puts have been working. If you look at Peloton, the high flyers are coming in a little bit, which they needed to do. It was silly at this point, quadrupled in 3-4 months. Pull back into the 90s would be interesting from a long-term perspective if you're a believer. And I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, Zillow. I'm super bullish on. I'm adding it to my 8 to 80 list. So anything in the 70s or 80s, I'm interested in Zillow.
Yeah. I'm
Ooh,
just
wow,
showing
that's a big pullback.
the
Yeah,
close
even
my,
though Bitcoin's rallying, Overstock's now selling off. Yeah. So Zillow's still one of my favorite new names. But again, as rates sneak up a little bit here, these get sold off. But I'm really bullish on Zillow long term at that valuation as a brand. Home builder index pulling back. So it's basically like you said, Ivan, everything's kind of correlated here.
yeah.
Yeah, the EEM, the emerging markets seem to be relatively stronger. I don't know if that's related to the dollar.
It's mostly China. That's why it's a little
Mostly
bit.
China. Okay, so there you go. I'm not going to overread this. I think next week we'll have a lot more to digest.
Yeah, it's better to do less because we're not even sure if we'll know the results on Tuesday.
We won't know the result. In fact, unless it's kind of like a Democratic sweep, we definitely won't know the results, because if it's close, the Republicans are going to be fighting for votes, and so unless it's not close, we won't know the results. If it's a big win by Republicans by Tuesday, they'll be claiming it. A close win, they'll be claiming it, and the only way we'll know the results if it's a huge Democrat. And it doesn't feel like the market's fully pricing any of this stuff in right now at the last minute. So it should be an interesting week. I think you stay small. I've been staying small, and we'll see you next Sunday. Ivan, have a good week.
You too, Howard.
Okay.